County Spartans, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If I'm struggling with something,
I know who I can turn to for help.
Do you?
Find help when you need it by talking to a trusted adult like a teacher or counselor. Look for Help is Here posters at school or someone wearing an I'm here to help badge.
I know who to go to at school if I need help.
I know there's someone to talk to.
I know who to turn to when I need support.
Good morning, Spartans!
This is Autism Awareness Month. I am Alex, and I am Alex.
I am John Solis, the Dictator of 2023 Just Do It award winner and my best friend.
Did you know that 1 in 36 children in the United States have autism? Boys are more likely than girls to be diagnosed with autism, and most children find out they have autism after age 4. Autism affects all people no matter the race, region, culture, or language. Nearly 2/3 of children with autism between the ages of 6 and 15 have been bullied by others, and drowning is the leading cause of death for children with autism. Students with autism are part of our school community, so please remember to always to be kind and inclusive toward others. Thank you for learning more about autism awareness. Thank you, Spartans!
You'll be on your way up. You'll be seeing great sights. You'll join the high fly. You soar to high heights. You won't lag high because you have a speed. You'll pass the whole lead and soon be in the lead. Wherever you fly, you'll be the best of the best. Wherever you go, you will top all the rest. Except for when you don't, because sometimes you won't.
How stupid of me to think I was the only star in your sky, the only flower in your garden, the only wave in your ocean, the only beautiful thing in your world. How can someone be so foolish as to expect glorification from a man whose adoration is short-lived? A man will promise forever and love you for a second. I will always simply be the crumbs left on a table with more food than I could ever provide. And who am I to feel betrayed? Who am I to judge when I should not judge another? Why settle for less when less is why you left? Simply the crumbs, simply the used, simply the left behinds of what once was, and maybe, possibly, somehow, I've begun to feel okay with that. Because like crumbs, I too am the remains of what used to be, and it is exactly because of what I used to be I will never be again. Crumbs will never be food again, and I will never be yours again. I'll take what I can get from the leftovers of your poor attempt at trying to consume me, to woo me, to use me. I will carry the truth of knowing that you lied when you said I was the most beautiful thing in your life. And I too shall lie when I say that I'll never feel whole again.
I watch you passed out on the couch. I watch from the hall, your face pushed into your desk, breathing in your daily salvation. I watch in the night as you do your dances of delight and wait for hopeless love. Through my young eyes, I have watched the needles full of euphoric remediation destroy you. I watch as you become a was. I watch all the things you'll miss. I watch in silence, waiting for you.
worshiping you. You are worshipped as a God. You are loved as a God. And I am seen as a sinner who didn't believe in you. I've seen the frantic faith in you, the worshipers who would go on their knees for you, who would taste bitter for you to taste sweet. They would bleed for you. They love you, for you are their God. I was a lucky mortal, barely pretty enough. I was never lucky, but I was pretty. Pretty enough to tempt you and lead you astray. She has brought you back. She's the hero after the villain. I don't worship you. I do not pray with a frantic rush. I do not speak of you with a high praise. My words do not flow like a rushing stream when it comes to you, and when it does not come from a place of worship. I worshipped you once. The feeling overtook me, and I think I would be happy if I never felt that way again. And I am the sinner for not wanting that. For not being on hand. Everyone who doesn't wait on hand is a sinner. You are a God, a patron, a saint. To me, you are a coward. You may be worshipped, but I am loved. I am loved as a person. Whenever someone asks about it, I speak of it like a sin, quick and rapid in a hushed tone, because I am ashamed of it. I'm ashamed of the fact I ever wanted you. For a while, I saw you as a god, and I was ready for my role, ready to play the part, to be the perfect girlfriend, to allow myself to be quiet for you, to let myself be someone else for the chance for you to love me. Now I see you for who you are. A human being who never deserved and will never deserve me.
As I wait for your call in restless sleep, your shadow awaits my eye. Grief's tender lust wraps around my throat, grasping me into an everlasting slumber. For irritant eyes and weary voice, I know I'll beg for your sweet hesitation. But I love you, but I love you, but I love you. I stand at the edge of days next indifferent, only one thing on my mind. You were like venom, and your fangs sinking into my skin became the drug of choice. For behind my grief-stricken eyes, I held to you what I held, the idea of feeling itself. The end of the world every night.
They mistake her tranquility for invisibility, and with that they assume her silence for absence even when she cannot be more present, her introversion for self-isolation, and her sensitivity for weakness, when it was simply in her nature to be gentle and reflective. They've mistaked her kindness for concealed malice, as though she were a sheep in predator's clothing, for there was no way one could be truly innocent. Perhaps they were right. No one ever is truly free of sins after all. When her cheeks are pink like a raspberry, eyes brown as a doe, where tranquility resides, resentment lurks like a tigress underneath, your true foe. You don't hate me, you only hate what I represent, they once told her. And yet, if you took a sword and pierced it into someone, should they fear the sword that represents the end of their life or the killer who wielded it? Should they resent the whip that represents pain and suffering as it causes flesh to part and bleed, or the sadist who does the whipping? Does she hate his majesty for what he represents, a powerful, domineering ruler, or simply the man who shows no mercy? So, she answered, sometimes what you represent is far different than what you execute. But maybe she also hated things represented as well, which she represented to others. They saw her as an irrelevance, with as little worth as the dust on one's shelf and the ashes beside a fireplace. But when will they realize that even the brightest of stars were formed within clouds of dust, and the mightiest of phoenixes are reborn from their own ashes? They saw her as a challenge, something to acquire, but when will they realize she was never theirs to conquer? Never mistake her for being invisible. You will see a woman when she wants to be seen. Never mistake her for being self-isolated. A woman would have spoken to you if she had wanted to. Never mistake her for being weak. For even the most fragile of glass is the sharpest of edges. Never mistake her for being malicious. Kindness is a gift a woman wasn't forced to grace you with. But never mistake yourself for thinking that she is, that women are, that I am perfect. No one ever is truly flawless after all.